About 11 months ago now, I undercoated my truck frame with a product called LPS-3. Why did I undercoat my truck frame? Well, I live in the Northeast, Salt Belt. I had a previous truck rust out and it drove me nuts. So I wanted to do everything I could to protect the underside of my 2015 Chevy 1500. Now, ever since I made that video, a lot of people have requested that I do a 1-year review of the product. You know, take you under the truck and see how well it's protecting my frame, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Perhaps one of the best reviewers on YouTube is somebody by the name of Project Farm, and he did a video a while back where he tested several different undercoating products. And to me, it looked like LPS-3 was one of the best products out there. It held up extremely well to the test he put them under. You know, a lot of people have said good things about fluid film. The problem with fluid film that everybody has told me is that at the end of the year, you're going to have to reapply the stuff. My hopes were that by using LPS-3, I wasn't going to have to reapply this at the end of the year. I think you kind of know where this is going. Let me take you under the truck and we'll take a look and see how well this stuff actually did. So what am I looking for here? Well, there's a couple things I'm looking for. I'm looking for new rust formation, and I'm also looking for tackiness to see if this product is still here. How am I going to test for tackiness? Well, simple. I'm going to take my finger and rub it on areas that I want to test. Like right here, I can feel that it's a little bit tacky. Some crud collecting on my finger. So LPS-3 has remained on this part of the frame. However, if I go down a little bit lower, I remember I coated the crud out of all of this in here. I overcoated a lot of areas when I applied the LPS-3. If I rub around on my leaf spring, LPS-3 is gone, and additionally, I see a little bit of new rust forming in there. Now, if I go over here to my B&W gooseneck hitch plate, there's plenty of LPS-3 still on there. If I go to the back over here, LPS-3 is completely gone off my leaf springs, and there's still some on the frame. So there seems to be a little bit of a reoccurring theme here. In areas that see a large amount of wash or come in contact with a lot of debris from the road, such as the lower spots on the leaf springs, this stuff seems to wash away. And I think what's happening is the tires are throwing a lot of water and dirt and grime onto areas like right there, and this little bracket right here that sticks out where the new rust is forming. There's definitely some new rust forming there. It's not the best. Here's definitely a new spot where a lot of rust is forming, but I'm not going to fault this one on LPS-3. I'm going to fault this one on Chevy. This is the Chevy undercoating or frame coating, and it's just failing right here. Now, when I applied this stuff on the frame last year, I do remember there was a little bit of rust here, but it has gotten worse. Now, on that jug of LPS-3, it is advertised as a rust inhibitor. In my eyes, that is defined as something that will stop rust from continuing. This has definitely gotten worse, and this LPS-3 has not helped whatsoever. If I feel to the left of this rust spot, there is a fair amount of LPS-3 still here. It is tacky. If I feel over on the right, there's still some LPS-3. I can definitely feel the tackiness. You can see where I just rubbed my finger. However, where this rust is, where I sprayed over with LPS-3 the previous year, there is no LPS-3 whatsoever to be found. So LPS-3, in terms of stopping rust, stopping it from spreading, in this example right here, absolutely useless. Now, this one really pisses me off, and this really just speaks to how crappy LPS-3 actually is, at least in my opinion. So I want to say I put this B&W gooseneck hitch in here, I want to say in August of last year, and I undercoated my truck frame probably in October, something like this, something like that. So this B&W gooseneck hitch never saw any salt. It saw a little bit of rain, but this whole thing was powder coated real nice, and this is what it looks like after one winter. I remember when I was undercoating my truck frame with LPS-3, I put this stuff on here heavy, and you could see all that black crud. That is from just road debris and crap sticking to this stuff. And I mean, I really coated this thing extremely well, and there's just a ton of new rust forming on this. It may not look bad on camera, but right here, there's a ton of rust forming right there. I can't really fault LPS-3 right here because, you know, the turnover ball slides in right there. But I'm looking at all these seams and looking at these bolts. I mean, look, there's some rust forming right there. Look at that bolt right there. Look at all that rust. That's a shame. And if you look up a little bit higher, you could just see that there's a ton of LPS-3 on there. So this stuff, I don't know. Not working out too well. I'm really not happy with this stuff so far. Alright, this one I'm going to fault on the LPS-3. I undercoated the whole underside of my truck. This is the tin. We're underneath the cab right now. And you can see there's just a ton of LPS-3 on here. Look at this new rust line forming right here. See that peeling away? In my opinion, the LPS-3 should have protected that. There was a decent amount of paint on the underside of the truck here on this tin. And LPS-3 is just not doing its job, in my opinion. Decent amount on this cross member. Ties two frame rails together. See, there's still a ton of LPS-3 on that transfer case right there, but I mean, I believe that's like a cast aluminum, so that's not gonna corrode regardless, but looks pretty. Just trying to give you some shots of what everything looks like under here. Yeah, I don't know. Right here it doesn't look too bad, but then again, this doesn't really get much salt spray. Alright, this rust spot I'm definitely going to fault on the LPS-3. This is the driver's side lower control arm. And if you look at this bracket that goes to the frame, there's just a ton of LPS-3 right here. But look at this rusty spot right here. That's fresh. That's definitely new. Looks like there was actually some rust over here to the right, but for whatever reason the LPS-3 has failed right here, and that rust is starting to get worse. As for all of the front suspension components, you can see that there's still a decent amount of LPS-3 on there, and not too bad actually. That is the driver's side front tire still, and if I turn the camera up right here, look at that washer right there. That might be a body mount. There's LPS-3 on this washer. There's a little bit, but it's definitely here, and there's definitely some fresh rust forming on that washer. Something like that, definitely fault on LPS-3. If we go to this, I think this is a bumper bracket right here. You can just see that there's still a ton of LPS-3. I know I'm getting sick of saying it myself. Where this rust is forming right here, that's hard to say. I don't think I can fault this on LPS-3. I think this is the Chevy undercoating failing again. Passenger side, that shock, I can't fault that on LPS-3. It looks like the paint on the shock just kind of coming apart there, and that was probably coming apart as I was applying the LPS-3, so I'm not going to blame that on LPS-3. Things don't look too terrible over here. You can see there's still a ton of that stuff on there. This fresh rusty spot right here, this is definitely LPS-3's fault. I don't know, in some spots like right there, you can see where I applied the LPS-3 over rust, and it appears to be doing okay actually in that section right there, but if we go a little bit lower, LPS-3 is definitely gone, and it's definitely a fresh rust spot there. If I had to rate LPS-3 on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 performing the best and 1 performing the worst, I'd rate this, I'd say about a 5, somewhere in the middle. In some areas of the truck frame, I felt like it protected it pretty well. In other areas, it wore off within, the 11 months since I applied this on the truck frame. And there were areas where I was really disappointed, like the gooseneck hitch plate under the bed. I was expecting to see no rust whatsoever, and there was a lot of new rust forming there, so really disappointing. At this point in time, it seems like I'm starting to realize that there is no perfect product out there. No matter what product you use, it will wear off in certain high wash areas, and no matter what product you use, there are some areas that rust pockets are going to form. And it's a good idea to go under the truck once a year, and where the new rust forms, just take care of it. Grind it down to shiny metal and just use a rust converter product or your POR15 and just try and stop it. I think that is the best course of action at this point. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.